Hi Math Stars. Today we are going to be doing essentially the exact same thing that we did yesterday. The only difference is our number line looks a little bit different. So yesterday our number line looked like we started off with the 0 and then we went to 1/2 in between 0 and 1. Today they want us, instead of starting off at 0, we start off with 1 and go to 2, and in between 1 and 2 is 1 and 1/2. Okay? If it makes more sense to you, you could totally extend these number lines and they can go from 0 to 1/2 to 1 to 1 and 1/2 and then to 2. Okay? But just to be conscious of space, to recognize that we have limited space on the paper, they just decided to go from 1 to 2 today. But we're still not going to forget about that 0 and 1/2 because these are still very important benchmarks that are useful to us. Okay? So our objective, we're still going to continue to compare numbers and reason with them using this number line and using those benchmarks. Okay? And today our benchmarks are 1, 1 and 1/2, and 2. So let's do an example problem together. Then you guys should be all good to go. So let's look at this 4/3 or 4/3. Okay. I know that 3/3 is equal to 1, right? We know that 3/3 is equal to 1. And then we also know that 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. Okay? So I'm going to move towards rewriting this 4/3 into an improper fraction. Okay? And rewriting this, we would rewrite this as 1 and 1/3. Okay? We would rewrite that fraction as 1 and 1/3. How did I get that really quickly? Once again, well, I got that because I know for sure that 3/3 is equal to 1 because the numerator is equal to the denominator. They're the same exact number, so they both equal 1. And then, okay, I still have some left over because I have 4/3. I don't have 3/3. So what I then did is I subtracted this 4 minus 3, and I know that 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. And then I'm not going to forget about my denominator. I'm going to chug my denominator in. So 4/3 is equal to 1 and 1/3. And plotting 1 and 1/3, I know that that would go in between this 1 and 1 and 1/2. Because 1/3 is quite not 1/2. Okay. Let's try this 11/6. Okay. Once again, let's break this up. I know that 6/6 is equal to 1, right? Because the numerator and denominator are the same. So 6/6 is equal to 1. And then I still have some fraction left over. So I'm going to subtract 11 minus 6. 11 minus 6 is 5. And I'm not going to forget about my denominator. I'm going to place that 6. So my fraction now is 1 and 5/6. Well, same to plot this, I know that 5/6 is super close to 6/6. And 6/6 is equal to 1. And that would leave me with 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So in that case, I know that this 1 and 5/6 is pretty close to this 2. So I'm going to go ahead and place it close to this 2. Okay. Let's go ahead now and do C. I have 17/12. Same thing. I'm going to do the same thing. I know that 12/12 is equal to 1. And then I'm going to subtract 17 minus 12. 7 minus 2 is 5. That would be 0. I then have 5/12 left over, or 5/12 remaining. Okay. And well, I know that 6/12 is equal to 1/2. And 5 is close to 6, but not quite 6. So I'm going to go ahead and place this 1 and 5/12 close to this 1 and 1/2. Okay, but smaller than 1 and 1/2. And why is it smaller? Well, because 5 is smaller than 6. Okay. And same thing for 2. What they want us to do, same thing from yesterday, I should say, is compare the fractions by writing greater than, less than, or equal to on the lines. So let's go ahead and do that. And this is pretty simple stuff because we could just look up here. Let's just look at our number line. So 1 and 5/6 is greater than 1 and 5/12 because, well, we could just look up here, right? 1 and 5/6 is closer to 2. And then we got 1 and 1/3 and 1 and 5/12. Well, we can say 1 and 5/12 is greater than 1 and 1/3 because that 1 and 1/3 is closer to just 1. Okay. And we know that 5/12 is closer to a half. Okay. I want you guys to try 3 on your own. And then compare 11/8 to 5/12, or 15/12. I'm sorry. Is it greater than, is it less than, or is it equal to? Okay. And then let's do a couple problems in 5 together. So all we're doing is comparing the fractions below, giving greater than, less than, or less than on the line. Okay, let's do A. So I have 3/8 and I have 7/12. Well, I know that 3/8, or I know that 4/8, that's easy. 4/8 is 1/2. Because 4 is just half of 8. And looking at the 7/12, I know that 7/12 is close to 6/12. And that 6/12 is equal to 1/2, right? So, they're both kind of equal or close to this 1/2. But I'm going to use the same trick I used yesterday. I know that 3 is a smaller number than 4. And that 7 is a bigger number than 6. So in that case, 7/12 must be the bigger number. So 7/12 is greater than 3/8. And then let's do J together as well. I have 7/5. I have 7/5. And then I also have 16/10. Okay. First, let's rewrite these. So 7/5, I know that 5/5 is equal to 1. And then 7 minus 5 is equal to 2. So if I rewrite 7/5, it would equal 1 and 2/5. And then I have 16/10. So if I rewrite that, I would have 10/10. That would equal to 1. And then 16 minus 10 would be equal to 6. And then what I have left is 1 and 6 over 10. Okay, that looks much easier to compare, but still, I don't think I could, I don't know, I need to just break this down further. So we know that half of 10 is 5. So 5 over 10 would equal to this 1/2 mark. And over here, we know that half of 5 is 2.5. Okay, and that would equal that 1/2 mark. So, and I can see, using the same trick as above, that 6 is greater than 5. Yeah, 2 is smaller than 2.5. So that means that this 16 over 10 must be larger than this 7 over 5. Okay. So your job now is to do the rest of these problems, and then you all will be good to go. Have a great rest of your day.